On a dark and eerie night, a solitary stretch of highway lay before Cadence, a young bartender at a run-down dive bar. Flickering neon lights illuminated the deserted land, casting unsettling shadows on the cracked pavement. The sign outside read up in 24 hours. But tonight, the bar felt more like a ghost town than a safe haven. Cadence stood behind the bar, her weary eyes scanning the sparse patrons. Her childhood friend Max had come to visit from the bustling city, full of energy and curiosity. Cadence had always felt a sense of protectiveness over him. The world he lived in was vastly different from hers. As she poured drinks, Cadence noticed Devancha, a salesman who seemed completely out of place, propped up against the bar. His eyes darted suspiciously, and the tension in the air thickened. What's with the vibes in here? Max said, breaking the silence as he noticed the two men in hoodies that had just entered, shadowy figures whose intimidating presence sent chills down Cadence's spine. They ordered drinks with gruff voices, the bar suddenly plunging into an oppressive silence. Cadence could feel the tension that hung in the air, like the gathered storm clouds that loomed outside. Just as she was about to reach for a glass, she caught a glimpse of a woman on a monitor in the police station across the street. The woman's unsettling stare sent shivers down her spine, a cold reminder that danger loomed just out of sight. As the night wore on, Max pushed Cadence to investigate an abandoned railway station he had stumbled upon earlier that day. There's something eerie about it, like a mystery waiting to unfold, he insisted. Reluctantly, Cadence agreed, an uneasy feeling prickling at his skin. The idea of leaving the safety of the bar behind sent her heart into a frenzy. But the sense of adventure tugged at her curiosity. Driving through winding, dark country roads, the headlights barely cut through the thick darkness that cloaked the landscape. Cadence felt a chill as they passed by. Dilapidated, empty houses, shadows flickering against the crumbling walls like phantom. Arriving at the abandoned railway station, they creaked open a rusty gate, the noise echoing into the abyss. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with dust and decay. Eerie graffiti sprawled across the walls, complete with strange symbols that felt deeply unsettling. Cadence's heart raced as she felt the weight of unseen eyes watching her every move. Suddenly, a shadow flickered in the corner of her vision, causing Max to scream as he stumbled backward, tripping and nearly falling into a gaping hole in the wooden floorboards. A sense of dread washed over them as Cadence's heart pounded in her chest. What was that? Max whispered, panic evident in his voice. I don't know, she replied, attempting to steady her voice, but her composure was faltering as they moved deeper into the station. Amid the musty smell, Cadence discovered a journal nestled within a crevice of crumbling bricks. As she leafed through its yellowing pages, her pulse quickened. The entries detail a string of disappearances connected to the area, stories of shadowy figures lurking just beyond the veil of reality, and marking a turning point in their night. Cadence's heartbeat became erratic as they realized they weren't alone. A persistent shadow began to trail them, eluding sight, yet tangibly close enough to sow doubt. Suddenly, the laughter of the woman from the police station echoed through the station. Panic surged within Cadence as they recognized that she had followed them. Her face, a mask of manic glee, was framed by haunting shadows as she peered through the station's dusty windows. We need to leave, Cadence urged, anxiety gripping her throat. As they dashed towards the exit, police sirens wailed in the distance, piercing through the stillness of night. Their hearts raced, adrenaline propelling them forward as the laughter behind them grew more sinister, more desperate. They escaped, diving into Max's car and speeding away as the woman's figure melted into the dark. But Cadence couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. They arrived at Grandma's remote lakeside house as dawn broke, the tranquility starkly contrasting their recent experiences. But as they entered the eerie stillness of the house, a masked figure appeared, blocking their escape. Cadence's breaths became shallow as fear gripped her, the shadow looming larger than life. It was the woman from the railway station, eyes wide with malicious intent as she lunged for Max. "No," Cadence shouted, her instincts kicking in. Grabbing an ashtray, she flung it towards the masked figure. Buying them a moment, Max jumped into action, fending off her assault, while Cadence and Devance joined forces. A struggle ensued, the room echoing with chaos as they fought back against the unyielding terror before them. Cadence's heart raced as she wielded her fear into power, finally subduing the figure through sheer determination. Breathless, they managed to retrieve a hidden phone, calling for help just as Grandma arrived with police reinforcements, who had hurried over after hearing their earlier commotion. The masked woman was apprehended, her grin fading into a scowl as she was taken away. Cadence felt a strange mix of relief and lingering dread. She realized just how easily she could have become a victim herself. She needed to be vigilant, painfully aware of the darkness that lurked even in the light. As she resumed her duties at the bar, in the following weeks, a loaded gun was now hidden under the counter precaution that spoke of the haunting reality she would live with forever. The neon lights outside continued to flicker, and the once comforting atmosphere now felt suffocating, thick with the laughter and treachery of the shadows dancing on the walls. Remembering that night always brought a shiver down Cadence's spine, a reminder of the darkness creeping just out of sight, waiting to ensnare the unsuspecting. That highway, that dive beareth held untold secret. And as Cadence poured drinks for the weary travelers who dared to stop under the flickering lights, she understood the importance of being on guard. After all, some shadows never fade.